What's up, YouTube? I'm here to do my predictions for UFC 182. Let's start at the bottom. First fight is Omar Akhmedov versus Mats Nilsson. Both these guys are grapplers, but I think Omar's got the better striking, and I think that's gonna be the difference. I think Omar's fought the better people, and even though he's the best people he's lost to, or the best people he's fought are losses, I think those are still better than Matt's. I think if this fight goes to the ground, it could go either way. I think Matt's probably a little bit better of a grappler, but I think if it stays standing, and the longer it goes, the better it is for Omar. So I got Omar. I think he's going to win by TKO. Okay, next we got Evan Dunham versus Rodrigo Dam. And to me, both these guys kind of are similar. I just think Evan Dunham's a little bit better everywhere. I think this fight's going to be kind of like the Al Iaquinta fight that Rodrigo Dam just went through. I think Evan Dunham just lands a little bit more, lands a little bit cleaner throughout the fight, and then towards the end of the third round, he'll probably get the TKO. So, I got Evan Dunham, third round TKO. Next we got Sean Jordan versus Jared Cormier. And, you know, I'm not sure if this is a late replacement fight or not, but, you know, this is Jared's first fight in the UFC, and I think that Sean Jordan's just going to be able to wear him out and win by TKO. Late second, early third. I just think the experience factor and the fact that this is Jared's first fight going to work against him. Next we got Marcus Brimage versus Cody Gar something. I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry, guys. But I think this is kind of like the last fight. I know Cody is a really good striker. I think all 5 of his wins are by knockout. He's 5-0. And Marcus Brimage is also kind of a striker with pretty good grappling. And I think this is the same thing as the Sean Jordan thing. I think Marcus Brimage has fought better people. I think, you know, this is like his 6th or 7th fight in the UFC. And this is Cody's debut. I think Marcus Brimage wears him down and wins by, you know, late second, early third TKO. Next we got Danny Castillo versus the Irish Dragon, and I'm going to take the Irish Dragon. I think he's a really exciting fighter, and I mean, I know he's probably a huge underdog, but I really want the Irish Dragon to win, so I'll take the Irish Dragon by knockout. On to the main card, we got Hector Lombard versus Josh Burkman, and I know a lot of people are kind of Josh Burkman out, but I'm not. I think if Josh Burkman fights exactly the way Tim Boetsch did, he'll win, and I think that's what he's going to do. I think if he just uses a lot of movement, throws a lot of kicks, Hector Lombard has a real hard time with guys that, you know, don't fight him. You know, the fights that he wins are the fights that guys that are, you know, actually trying to fight with him, but the guys that are just trying to point fight him, he has a hard time winning those fights. So I think Josh Burkman, if he goes into this fight like Tim Boetsch did, he'll win by decision. So I got Josh Burkman to win by decision. I think this fight will be boring, but I think Josh Burkman will win. Next we got Kyoji Horiguchi versus Luis Gaudino, and Luis Gaudino's not that good. I mean, he isn't. He's just, I think he's going to get knocked out in the first round, maybe second. I know Horiguchi takes some time to get his range, but when he does, he starts landing a lot. So I'm going to pick Horiguchi. Once he starts to find his range, I think he's going to get the knockout. I don't know what round, but it could be first, could be second, could be third, but that's kind of how he fights. Once he starts to get his range is when he really starts to light people up. Next we got Brad Tavares versus Nate Marquardt, and as much as I want to pick Brad Tavares, he looked like shit in his last 2 fights, and Nate Marquardt looked like the old Nate Marquardt. So I'm gonna pick Nate Marquardt by submission. I just think he looks really good, and Brad looked like shit in his last 2 fights. Next we got Donald Cerrone versus Miles Jury, and I just see Cerrone just being everywhere, you know, being better everywhere. I think Cerrone, you know, he's going to either win a decision or a submission in some round. I think he's going to catch him in a choke or something, maybe later in the fight. But I just, unless Cerrone comes in like how he did against Rafael dos Anjos, does nothing, I mean, that's the only way I see him losing is if he comes in flat, which happens time to time with him. But if he comes in like the regular Cerrone, he'll win. Title fight, Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier. I think the wrestling's too much. I think Daniel Cormier, you know, there's a reason why he won a medal in the Olympics. I think that Jon Jones is a good wrestler, but Daniel Cormier is on another level. Like we saw that with Dan Henderson. And you can say Dan Henderson's old and all that, but still, I mean, you've never seen Dan Henderson get controlled like that either. I mean, even though Dan Henderson gets taken down, people have a hard time keeping him down, you know? Like, even the Shogun fights, when Shogun was dropping him, he still had a hard time. It was hard to keep Dan Henderson down. It's not impossible to take him down, but it's hard to keep him down. And even Daniel Cormier couldn't, you know, Dan Henderson would get up from time to time, but Daniel Cormier would just take him back down again. And I think that's what's going to happen in this fight. I think the wrestling is just too much, and I think Cormier is going to win late TKO, maybe 4th or 5th. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe.